evening, Chiradeep.
Good evening.
I,
How are
I thought
you?
I'm talking. I'm doing very good. You tell me.
I'm good too. Thank you so
Great.
much.
I'm glad to hear that. So we will have to wait for our audience to join in.
Yeah, of course. We'll definitely wait for them.
Yes. So, and we'll request as you please start joining, mark your presence for with maybe sending us some, showing us some love. Please mark your presence
Yeah.
so that we know when to start.
Yes, somebody has already uh, sent us emoji. There are three
Yes,
people have joined. I don't know who. Unless they
exactly.
comment, we won't be able to know. So say hi or hello or take our
Yes.
names.
So we
Then
welcome you and we would request you to please mark your presence by just greeting and bringing some conversation with us so that we know who all are there.
yeah, exactly. Because emojis are invisible. I mean, we won't see who is sending the emojis.
The names would be emojis we are able to see, but
Yes.
not the name.
Our
Hey
our
Kalpana,
yeah
good to
most
see you.
ardent follower is there, Kalpana.
So, Kalpana, since you have marked your presence here, I can't be the one you want me to be. So, as soon as you hear this, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I know you're very creative, so I would love to hear from you and others as well, whoever is there with us as of now. Please share what comes to your mind immediately as you read this. I can't be the one you want me to be. So, what are you expecting in this particular podcast? What do you think are we going to talk about, or what do you expect us to talk about? We would love to hear from you. As we wait for others also to join,
Looks like many haven't joined today.
which is okay. Best, everything has pros and cons. So here, this video will remain.
Yeah,
So anyone who wants can go back and listen to us.
exactly. That's why they miss the live ones.
Okay, so Kalpana has responded.
The expectations between two entities, be individuals or a group of people. Okay.
All right. Close, yes. We are going to touch this part as well. Anything else that comes to your mind or anyone else, please? The inflexibility to allow a balance. Oh my God. Yes, Kalpana, that was a good one. We'll wait for another minute
Yeah.
and then we'll begin. Is that okay? Okay,
It's
Ravi?
yeah, it's 8:04. We can wait till 8:05 and we can start. We are good to start after that.
Sure. So we are giving time for people who haven't joined to kindly join in. Yeah. So we see there are already four members, four audience who have joined, and we will not keep them waiting. It's already 8:05. So we'll maintain our punctuality, Chiradeep.
Yes,
People
absolutely.
do join late. So
Yeah.
we'll leave that entirely up to them. So let's begin.
Yeah. Have you ever felt disappointed when someone didn't comfort you the way you needed? Maybe you were upset and reached out, expecting reassurance, empathy, or even just a listening ear. But instead, their response felt distant, unhelpful, or completely off, even if they tried their best. Maybe you wanted emotional support, but they offered a solution. Maybe you expected a long conversation, but they gave you a brief reply or simply listened to you. In the moment, it feels like they don't care. But is that really true? Or is the problem that they didn't respond the way you expected? Keep thinking. Welcome to our 14th episode. Uh, I am Chiradip, and as always, I have the intelligent, the wise Niti with me. Today, we are diving into a topic that affects all our relationships, how we expect support from others, and how we disappointed when we don't get it the way we wanted it to be.
And as we continue the discussion, or rather, before we begin the discussion, I would request all of you to take a moment and reflect to a time where you felt, okay, you felt that you were expecting a particular way that people would respond to you, which didn't happen. It could be any moment. Maybe you shared a moment of anger, frustration, happiness, sadness, any emotion where you expected a certain kind of response, but you didn't get it. So, what is it that you went through? What kind of emotion, and what did you, at that moment, what did it make you feel? This is something that we all go through some point of our life. Okay. Um, I am sorry, I am just distracted because of Kalpana's
Okay.
comment, and I would like to read it. I think the second one is the most prominent one. We always envisage a response, and when we don't receive in the same form and shape, we get triggered. Right, Kalpana. So basically, this brings me to an understanding that despite we telling everybody that accept us the way we are, we always say that why can't you accept us the way we are? Having said that, we expect others to change as per our needs and our requirement. So somewhere, I guess there was this quote that I read long back which said, accept others the way they are and expect yourself to change for better. But the way we do operate is absolutely reverse of it. We expect others to accept us,
Mm,
and we expect others to keep changing as per our need and requirement. And I guess this is where we, and when, of course, as Kalpana you also mentioned, and when that parameter isn't met, that is when we feel disappointed, hurt, unloved, and we can keep adding adjective to it. So please continue with your comments if you have gone through similar situation where you felt hurt or disappointed because of others' reaction, or maybe because of your reaction, someone else felt the same.
mm. And Shahzad, it's absolutely fine if you have joined late. So welcome back again. So uh, the what we are discussing, this happens in all relationships, whether it's friendships or romantic relationships, family dynamics, even at work. We assume that people should respond a certain way when we are struggling. But the truth is, everyone has their own way of showing care. And just because someone expresses support differently than we expect doesn't mean they don't care. What do you think, Niti?
Yes, and we have some classic examples, and these examples maybe are relatable to most of us might have happened in our personal lives, might have
Mm.
happened with others, or we have been an observer to such examples where uh, just when you maybe went out of how bad your day was at office, or maybe how your boss behaved in a certain way which was rude, arrogant, and you just vent it out to your partner, and what you expect that moment may be a validation,
Correct.
that your anger is validated. Yes, your boss shouldn't have behaved in a certain manner the way he did. It was incorrect. Or he or she did. That's incorrect. Instead, what you get is an advice with all good intent, because the person cannot see you in anger. So the validation might not be the first response. In the next, the immediate response that come to them could be, why don't you quit your job? Why are you going through so much? So as soon as you listen to that response, because you were not expecting it, you get angry. You might even snap at them that I know what to do. Do not advise me. I was just trying to share. When we react or respond in such a way, we leave the other person completely confused because they believe that they were trying to help. Where what wrong did they do? Or where did they go wrong? Isn't it, Charadi?
Yeah. And now instead of feeling comforted, like, you feel dismissed. People usually feel dismissed. I can see what Kalpana has also written. But here's the thing, your partner is trying to help sometimes, and they are just wired to solve problems, not provide emotional validation. They think offering a solution is the best way to show support. Now, as
Right.
Kalpana is saying, for example,
Yes.
when I am sad, I expect the partner, I expect her partner, of course, to pamper me instead of giving words of wisdom on being strong. I didn't want that at that moment of crisis. And the argument continues.
Yes, Kalpana. It's completely relatable because there is a we are more often than not quick to react and late to realize. Yes, yes, Kalpana. Even that's correct. Because that very moment we are too overwhelmed with our own emotion,
Mm,
and until and unless that is validated, we are unable to even connect or understand the person's the other person's intent or emotion. Deep within, we might be aware, we know, like you know, that your partner has the best of their intent for you, yet you expect him to behave in a certain way. I guess with years of marriage, you learn.
true.
And when you do not, so when the other person don't realize it, what happens? We start resenting them, thinking they never listen, or they don't care. But in reality, the if we as you said, we do not realize it immediately, but in reality they have a different way to show that care, which maybe doesn't align to ours at that moment.
Exactly.
It is
Uh,
simple, but we
yeah.
complicate it.
Yeah. I have another example. You're feeling low and text a close friend. You sent a text message to your close friend and you expect a long, thoughtful response. We all do. Our mind, our right to imagine, isn't it? But in response, all you get is, that sucks. Hope you feel better soon. Just two sentences, and the smallest ones. Not even a full sentence. It's just a phrase and a small sentence.
So Chiradeep, just out of curiosity, if this happens to you, I mean, not someone giving you two-word response, but just I am curious that if you happen to share a vulnerable, what am I saying, a vulnerable moment with someone, So, what do you expect the other person to? Like,
Yeah.
what would be your comforting language?
See, I am a writer. You know that. And I
Uh-huh.
always, whenever I give, uh, when I do display my support to anyone, I write long paragraphs. I'm habituated with that.
Okay.
So I sometimes I do expect a long, long. As I said, I do expect long messages from them comforting me. Yeah, previously I used to get hurt, but these days I have learned to understand the other person. Yeah, that's my case. What about you?
Oh my God. Okay. So, depends on with whom am I sharing. If I'm sharing with someone who's very close to me, I think I am a very physical person. What I want would be a warm, comforting hug.
Mm, mm,
So after I get that hug, whatever, I mean, I guess that will calm me down instantly. Post which, Gyan, as Kalpana mentioned, that it could be words of wisdom, which we call Gyan in simple word. So whether it's followed by Gyan, whether it's followed by advice, I guess I will become more receptive to anything that comes later. That's again depending on with whom am I sharing it.
yeah, true.
I am sharing it with someone who is platonic, just happens to be a weak moment where I share. That moment, I guess I would be looking for comforting words. So again, here why I mentioned, because our expectation also changes depending on the person with whom we
Absolutely,
share. So
absolutely.
let's understand that we also have different expectations from different person. And in that moment, the example, coming back to the example that Chiradeep gave about the friend, instead of doubting our friendship instantly, that maybe putting the blame of what if the friend is not even genuine, or what if the person doesn't even care, let's try and understand, because again, before you doubt the other person, let's understand, if you are a true friend, you will also understand by that time what is closest to the friend. Maybe the friend doesn't know how to talk,
Correct.
he is not good with words. Person might be someone who's not very verbal to express, maybe have other ways to show concern, by showing up at your door, by offering you to do something, support you, or forget everything else, just sit with you silently, because he or she doesn't know how to talk. Even that is a way to show care.
Mm. You
Okay,
got to,
before we continue,
yeah,
we
yeah.
would want again, we truly appreciate Kalpana to continue the conversation. As you do it, we would want others to participate and let us know whether whatever we are saying makes any sense to you. Do we realize that people may have different ways to express their concern and care, which might or might not align with us, but it is a care, that's their way to show their care and concern. So what are our views on it? And if an incident has of similar a similar incident has happened with you, we would love to hear that as well. If it's okay for you to share on a forum like this, please go ahead. Sorry,
And
Chandra.
and I just wanted to say, as Kalpana has written, sometimes I also respond with, okay. When I'm confused what to say, I do write that. But I get that. Sometimes they irritate me as well. Such kind of responses. Yeah. Just to add on to what Neeti just said, uh, we often mistake a lack of verbal support for a lack of care, which shouldn't be. But
Absolutely not.
people express support in different ways. What do you think, Neeti?
Exactly.
You already said it though. Yeah.
Yes. See, again, like you said, you being a writer, now understanding this part that
Mm.
our expectation is close to who we are. You being a
Exactly.
writer, that's
Yeah.
what you said. You being a writer, you look for big comforting words or a paragraph. So if you have sent a paragraph, I that reminds me, there are so many times I hear my friends saying that, oh, I sent him such a big paragraph stating or expressing how much I love the other person. And what I received in turn was one sentence saying, or thank you, or me too. What is this? So that's disappointing. Now, here, I know maybe this will be going a little off track, but just to mention, remember one thing, when you express your love for someone, we do it because that makes us happy.
Yeah.
So if you do everything that makes you happy, the expectation of getting the same response from the other person will lower. That's point number one, which we need to be careful of.
Mm.
And as Chiradeep mentioned, because he's a writer, and that's the reason he wants a written reply. I am not a writer at all. So he is a multi-talented person, Chiradeep. He is a writer, he conducts podcasts, he designs, he does a lot of things. So let's not go there. I consider myself to be a physical person. I will, again, I am a physical person. Maybe the person with whom I'm sharing is not a physical person.
Yeah.
So we'll have to somewhere be mindful of who the other person is.
Mm.
So if people are not able to express support through words or even big gestures, they show up, they sit with you, or even they make you a cup of tea, coffee, or maybe gives you a can of beer, whatever is closer to you and whatever makes you happy.
Mm.
Even that is uh, an attempt to show that they care, and telling, they might not say this, I am here, but they do it in action. Now understand what is more important, because I've come across a lot of cases where people say, I care for you, I care for you, but that doesn't reflect in their actions at all. I
Mm.
want to do it, I will do it, oh, I'm so sorry I couldn't do it. These are mere words, and eventually words will lose their value if they are not backed by action. We
Mm.
would not like them if people come up with the same kind of words every time and there is nothing that you can see them doing. So somewhere, whatever we say, we really need actions, and there might be people who believe in acting, proving their care and love through
Mm.
their actions rather than verbalizing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we have this huge comment from Kalpana, and I truly
Yeah.
appreciate,
In fact,
Kalpana, we are enjoying reading your comments.
reading Kalpana's messages and comments, I feel that we have only one subscribed member in our podcast. The rest of the people are visitors.
Or
So
maybe the topic. Okay, we cannot. That's an assumption, Chiradeep. We
no,
can
no, no, no.
also
That's
believe.
just a joke, not even
Yeah.
assumption. That's
So
just
we
a
can
joke.
also see that maybe Kalpana can relate to the topic
Yeah,
the most, and others might not. But still, they are here listening to the two of us. Even that's a gesture of them showing that they care.
yeah, yeah. That's true. And I know Sahzad is always there. He's also a silent subscriber. So two of them are permanent subscriber of our podcast. Yeah, yeah. I would like to read what Kalpana has written. It just scrolls up. Okay. I believe in a relationship or friendship depending upon the years of understanding. Even silence can be heard and understood very well. For example, with one of my closest friend, I understand when the person is sad or not well by just reading, even though one word answers. Yeah, I relate that, Kalpana. And she writes, yes, Cesar. And Kalpana writes again a beautiful line that I have read in school. If speech is silver, silence is golden, and sometimes silent gestures mean a lot than sugar coated words. That's nice.
So here again, gestures are the actions that we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That reminds me, and I would like to bring here. There is a friend of mine
Mm,
who, I wouldn't say that the person isn't good with words. Definitely very good with words. However, also good with action. The moment the person understands that there is something that is brewing which can lead to a big misunderstanding,
mm,
would show up. Would show up, sit and sort that misunderstanding.
mm,
So even if, and knowing that I am an overthinker,
mm,
wouldn't let it go to a direction where I overthink. So I always consider that to be the sweetest gesture of
mm,
not saying anything but just showing up out of the blue.
mm,
So that, as per me, is also maybe at that very moment would not be able to come up with the right words to calm me down or make me understand, but just being there without even informing or with just giving a minute or two prior notice, even that is a gesture which I value a lot rather than mere, as you said, sugar coated words.
mm. I'm simply loving the realistic illustrations of our lives, how it is how it is being reflected through Kalpana, you and me. This is wonderful, and the way we, I mean, uh, scenarios where support is given but not acknowledged because we expect a certain kind of support, that is absolutely strange. Sometimes we are very strange. Okay, we have
This
one more supporter,
is
Radhika.
this. Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
please go ahead.
Radhika is good. Okay, let's read Radhika's comment first.
Also
Also,
different. Okay, you read. You read.
no, 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 no. Now you started. Go ahead, Chiradi. I'm waiting.
Also different strokes for different folks. Wow, it's rhyming. Some people do value words as well. A message to say a long time goes a long way too. One may be empowered by themselves, but to have friends who check on you once in a while adds meaning to life.
100%. 100%
Very
Radhika.
thoughtful.
Yes, yes. People who check in with you for no apparent reason. That's amazing. But I would like to take you back, all of you back to what Chiradeep just mentioned,
Yeah.
which is so powerful that we fail to acknowledge the support of others
Mm,
just because in our head we have this expectation, we have built this expectation of them reacting in a certain way, which if not met we get disappointed. That means that the support is there, but because our expectation is blurring our vision completely,
mm,
isn't it?
mm,
Again, I would want some emojis to show that whether it makes sense or not. Do we agree that our expectation blurs our vision at times and we are not able to see the support that is being lent to us at that moment? Does that make any sense here? Yes, no, maybe, if we can. And as we do that, I would also like to highlight here that we expect our parents as well to maybe verbalize and say directly to us, "Oh, I love you." But not every parent do that. There are a few parents who are expressive who may go ahead and say this, but most of the cases, and especially if the parents are of like my generation parents, they wouldn't. They don't. And in those cases, thank you, Kalpana, for that agreement. So in such cases, we also need to not let that expectation of that craving of verbalizing their love blur the vision that they are going out of their way to maybe meet our needs, or maybe that moment, that weak moment that we are in, our mother may go and cook our favorite meal just to show or just to see that smile back on our face. or maybe our father goes and get um, again something that we like, or our mother gives us something. So any expression, again, not verbally, but they show in the form of gifts, in the form of food, or taking us to a vacation. Even that is their way to show their concern, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's such a powerful example. If you only measure love and support in one way, like hearing "I love you," we might not see the love that's always been there. I think you'll agree to that. Uh, like I have some, yeah,
Okay, so
Radhika
let's
is very
understand that.
true.
Sorry, what is it?
No, Radhika said very true.
Okay, yes, I read that. So let's understand, why do we expect people to support us in a certain way? So we have this image that this is how we want to be supported.
Mm,
First, we assume others will support us the way we support them. As we already discussed, and with my example and Chiradeep's example of big emotional messages, or I said the physical thing. So if we are the type to give long emotional talks, we expect the same in return. That's point number one. Secondly, we believe our way is the right way
mm,
because that's what we do. And there we crave verbal reassurance. We think everyone should express support through words because that's the right way to do it in our head. But understand, there is no right or wrong. There's nothing. Everyone is a different individual and might have different way of expression. Third, unspoken rules from childhood or past relationships. If we were raised with affectionate, expressive parents, we might struggle with a partner who shows love differently, isn't it? And movies and media, oh God, reinforce certain ideals. We see grand romantic gestures and expect our partners to do the same. So it's disappointing if we see that the spouse is not bending on their knees, giving us flowers or giving us ring. That seems disappointing. Simple language of love is something that we are not able to understand because it's going we are building, everything is being painted larger than life.
mm,
So here, what can we do when someone doesn't support us the way we expect? Now the question is this. These we just shared the reasons why people might, or our expectation is different, but what happens if our expectation is not met?
mm. I can uh, give uh, one point that comes to my
Hmm.
mind. Uh, the first step should be awareness, recognizing the different ways people show care. That's very important. If you feel disappointed, pause and think and ask yourself, am I upset because they don't care or because they didn't respond the way I wanted?
That's a powerful question again, Chiradeep. Am I upset because they don't care or because they didn't respond the way I wanted? I guess
Hmm.
the moment we pause and we get an answer to it, most of the time the answer would be because they didn't respond the way I wanted. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere internally, we know that people whom we value, we are also valued.
Hmm.
But because of this expectation, which is a huge word, huge pressure, we fail to see others. And once we start noticing different support styles, maybe we can start appreciating them instead of resenting them, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I strongly believe and advocate that communicate your needs clearly,
Yes.
verbalize it. If
Yes.
you need something specific, say it instead of expecting someone to know what you want. So it is, nobody is a mind reader. People wouldn't read your mind and behave in the way you want. If right now, now I have learned that if I want a hug, I'll tell them, shh, Right now, I don't want to hear anything. I just want a hug. So now people who know me well have understood that this is what she needs. So let her calm down. Only then we can have a further discussion, which is
Absolutely.
right. That brings down the unnecessary burden of expectation, that brings down even that misunderstanding that's created, where the other person start feeling, oh, where did I go wrong, what did I
Mm,
do to hurt the other person.
mm,
So please start saying that I just want you to listen, don't want any advice right now, or I really need a hug, or can you just sit with me for a while, I don't want to be alone.
mm,
Most people would want to be there for us, they just don't know how. Or, in fact, most people are there for us, but as Chiradeep had mentioned, we are unable to see that because we expect them in certain way. So
mm,
now let's understand people are ready. We are fortunate that we need to be grateful that we have people who want to be there for us. so what we can do in our weak moments, tell them how. So I will
yeah.
also bring you back, take you back when we say that this is the right thing,
Mm,
because I offer the support in this certain pattern.
mm,
Please check with the other person whether it aligns to their requirement also or not. Maybe when I go ahead and I hug a person, that person says that, oh, I wanted to hear something rather than getting a hug. So your way or my way might not be right in every scenario. People might want to be treated differently. So ask them. For
mm,
yourself, you can verbalize it that this is how I want to be treated. For others, now this is what I have started doing with my friends when they call. I ask them, and I know that they are venting out. So I'll pause and I'll ask them, what do you want right now? Do you want me to just hear you out, or do you want me to say something about it? What I believe, my opinion, my advice, what is it that you're looking for?
mm.
So
That's
please
nice.
understand. This is how I have started doing.
Correct.
And
Correct.
trust me when I say this that uh, it has simplified my life. I do not know about others, but 100% it has simplified my life.
Mm,
I have started understanding people better.
mm. Again, I understand what you're saying, but it depends again on the person we are connecting with, or um, yeah. I hope you understand what I mean. Like it also
Yes.
depends on the relationship, and because we can't just say anyone that what do you want now. We can say
Actually, we can.
probably. Probably I was thinking something else. I was wondering about what you're saying exactly.
Okay, now because you have said something, we would
Yeah,
want others also to
yeah.
give their opinion. What do you feel? Can you do you all feel that uprightly asking a question like the way I just mentioned is a good option or it isn't a good option? Because I am doing that in my life. That's the reason I brought it out here. Do you think it's a good option and you people would want to?
Yeah,
Again,
let me answer.
situational, because again, see, there cannot be black and white. We need to find our way out. We cannot There cannot be a book of rules that can be applied to every person. We will
Correct.
have to understand when and how to behave depending on the relationship that you
Yeah,
share.
that's what I wanted to share. Yeah,
And it is situational. Of course, it's situational because
yeah.
there are situations where, oh my God, Radhika, that is a good one. So there might be situations where there are situations in my life where my friends call and they say, no, I want to hear it from you right now. Even though I can see that they are not in a receptive mode, so I will tweak my response and I'll say it in a way that can calm them down because I know they are not receptive. So we'll have to understand the situation. And Shiradeep, why don't you read it?
I think reaching out and telling of my expectations, or lack in a response for situations, and then I'm okay with the response. I believe in the phrase "agree to disagree." The other person is not good to know,
God.
not God, to know what you are expecting at times. Friendships, like any relationship, evolve with time and it is healthy, I think. Many of my friends know that if asked for an opinion, I shall give without a filter. Hence, few friends, but I have all solid friends.
So I guess what Radhika you mean is, again, when you say that other person is not God to know what you're expecting at times. So that is simplified is going out and commuting of what is it that you want. As simple as that. Yes, Shiradi?
Yeah, I was just wondering what exactly Radhika means. Yeah, that's true. So moving on. I have another step. Like I was just wondering, it becomes AVA, AVA. A for A, it becomes an acronym AVA. So
Mm-hmm.
A for awareness, awareness is needed, and V for verbalizing, as you said, verbalizing, and the last one is accepting.
Wow.
So next, the third one could be learning to accept what people can offer. So many times we try to just uh, we expect something from people, but as we have discussed all through this podcast, it is necessary to accept what uh, what people have in store for us to offer, the support, and sometimes it is more than what we expect. Some people will never be the type to have deep emotional talks. Everybody can't do that. Some won't send long text messages, so I don't expect it these days. I was talking about my previous.
I'm not here to judge you, Chiradi, which is absolutely
No,
fine.
I'm not justifying or saying. I'm saying that we evolve. We evolve. Okay.
Yes, of course.
So instead of resenting them, that uh, he or she did not meet my expectation, instead of resenting them, try to appreciate the support they have to give. They do give or they offer. Okay, that's it's very important. When we don't do that, we lose it somehow. Whatever support we supposed, we were getting, we also lose that. What do you think?
Yes, and thank you, Radhika, for clarifying that. That means I'm not hard on my friends. I understand if there was a lack in response or a delay in response.
Yeah,
Absolutely, Radhika. Which is maturity, which is again being wise, but at the same time, not every time. Because at times, as I said, and it doesn't, to each its own, at times when we are overwhelmed with our emotions, that time we just fail to recognize. So, here, a friend, again, we have almost discussed everything. Let's understand that the only thing that we want all of us to understand is this, that people are different. They might have different ways to show trust, show care, show affection. Let's try and be at that very moment and understand what they have to offer. That will somewhere, I believe, calm us down rather than always having that urge that my expectation should be met. Right?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We have come to the end. At the end of the day, no one can meet all our emotional needs. We also have to learn to comfort ourselves. You know, okay,
That's an
that's
essential point. That's a very essential point.
Whether it's journaling, listening to music, or just sitting with your emotions, self soothing is key. What do you think?
Absolutely.
I just,
Relying
yeah,
again.
supporting ourselves, our own self is very important.
Yes, yes, yes. Until and unless again, uh, it is empowering. It
Yeah.
builds our resilience. It lowers the expectation. There are so many benefits when we start taking care of our own selves and our own emotions. Doesn't mean that we do not need people, doesn't mean that we cannot vent out or we cannot talk
Correct.
to
Correct.
people. 100% it doesn't mean that. But at the same time, let's remember this is life. Over dependence will not lead us anywhere. So, empowering self and believing that maybe the other person is not here right now, I can take care of myself. And being that self sufficient is also crucial. I can take care of myself. At the same time, if I get a little additional support from others, good. If I cannot, that's also fine. So we need to understand who are our core circle, core group of people who we can go to. And again, no over dependency.
Yeah.
That's the key.
I have a few things to reflect on, like when we felt unsupported. So what can we do? Ask these questions. Was it really that the person didn't care? That's important. Or was it just that they didn't respond the way I expected? How can I recognize and appreciate their way of showing support? So these three things we need to ask, so that, like, whenever we feel unsupported, or something that doesn't come our way as we expected, these three questions probably will uh, clear our heads. What do you think?
True that. If you have any more questions that can be self reflective, please feel free, write them down and help us also and help all the other audience. And as you know, that all your comments are going to remain in this live video.
Yeah.
So people can go back and read. So you never know whom you will be inspiring through your comments. So please do leave a comment here. And now we have come to the end of our podcast. There is nothing more that we would like to share. So thank you, Radhika. We are glad. And if you found this conversation helpful, share it with someone who might need it to hear it. And we would love to hear from you as well. Have you ever been disappointed because someone didn't support you the way you expected? How did you handle? If you have such things, please feel free. And if you need a support to help you navigate such situation, both of us are here. You can DM to either of us, and we'll be more than happy to help you find a way. Other than that, before we close, please remember your presence, your comments are really are valued a lot. So please keep dropping, and we are truly grateful to our audience who are here every Tuesday or alternate Tuesday, and you listen and you interact with us. We truly value your support. If there is certain topic that you would want us to take up, please do not hesitate. Feel free, drop in the topic. We will definitely cover that topic. Yes, expectations rob you of happiness, to be precise. True that, Kalpana. So that's about it. Good night from my end.
Thanks for joining us tonight. It was actually fun to interact with all of you, and we both we both talk about you guys, and the way you guys respond to us, answer our questions, interact with us. I know, I remember when we were having audio podcasts, you get the opportunity, you used to get the opportunity to come to the stage and speak it out. I know we have that limitation here, but the best thing about this live podcast is it will remain. Your suggestion will remain. Your comment will remain forever and ever. So do write thoughtful comments here. Do ask probing questions here, so that we can answer or somebody else can answer even after the podcast. I mean, through comments, through replying to you in the comment section, we can also answer your questions. So do write your questions here, or drop drop in a message in a, I mean, DM us privately, either of us, so that we can answer your questions, your queries, and see you next time on our podcasts. We're probably going to hold another podcast next week, as we have missed one of our podcasts last week. And Kalpana is still not tired of commenting. Thank you so much. Expectations prejudice our thoughts. Yeah, please write such thoughtful quotations. They are wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful. And we value everything. We are truly, truly grateful for your presence, all of you. Thank you so much. And good night. Sleep well. And have a wonderful rest of the week.
Good night,
And
all.
we see you next Tuesday. So,
Next